I mean, after all, it can't be too hard because you doing it, all right? And mind you, they never ask you what it took for you to get the opportunity, what it took for you to stay there and keep earning, or even what it takes to qualify for the opportunity to exist for you. Oh, we can make a lot of videos just off of that one statement, right? And maybe we will. Maybe we will. But I thought I'd leave with that because really, usually, I should say, typically, I can say, that's the source of a lot of people's lack of peace. I really had to learn not to let other people determine my peace or lack thereof peace. And sometimes I slip, just like any other human, I slip. But it doesn't take long for me to figure out who makes me uncomfortable and why. Now, I feel comfortable saying these things because I'm in a season where I want comfort without clutter, without preparedness and paranoia, and I want peace without the price tag of shock. So a big part of that is figuring out my future and what that looks like without factoring other people. I've planned to prepare for a soft, steady retirement, but it's hard not thinking about whether or not, with the current events going on, if we need to be preparing for a bunker, right, instead of preparing for retirement. But one thing about me is I don't believe in panic. I believe in crisis management. And if you know me by now, or if this is the first time you ever seen me, you probably picked up a few notions about me so far. I believe in observing the patterns of things, whether that be behavioral, whether it be systemic, economics, or whatever name you want to call it. The patterns of things and how they occur and who they occur by can generally tell you the intention of a person or the intention of the things that are happening, or even the agenda of what's happening and who the players are. But when the cost of bread and eggs are shooting up, for no apparent reason, I take notice of that too, and I'm sure you have noticed. That's when I know I'm stuck in someone else's game and I'm not a willing participant, and that makes me uncomfortable. Who wants to start setting up trust funds just to buy groceries, right? We got to be strategic. This isn't about fear. This is more about foresight. Now, I know I'm probably sound like one of them old heads, right? And that's probably because I am. I'm probably a little bit older than you think I am. But when you work as long and as hard as I have, peace of mind becomes non-negotiable, and a little preparation goes a long way towards keeping things soft, serene, and secure for your future. Now, I'm not about to give you any kind of complicated life lessons or anything like that. I believe in, if you keep things simple, people can relate and people can understand, or they don't have to agree with what you're doing, but at least they can understand what you're trying to say. It's not any kind of new concept that we're putting out here. My approach is simple, as I said. I stock up on what I use. I buy things that bring me comfort, and I make a concerted effort to ignore as much of the nonsense in life as I can. Well, you might say, where do you stand on prepping? Like, there's a whole large prepping community here on YouTube. So I'll say a little bit about that. And I just have a little bit to say about that because I don't put that much thought into it in the way that community might. But for me, I just incorporate some of those concepts into my normal lifestyle. So it's not a real big effort for me. A lot of it comes from the way I grew up, the way I was raised, and some things I've learned along the way. Now, that does not mean that I'm closed-minded to new ideas. No, not at all. I'm just telling you what I currently do. I buy staples for my kitchen that can stretch meals that I'm already going to eat. Things like beans, rice, and soups that I combine with fresh produce that either I grow or I purchase, and some other fresh items that I already am going to consume. And stretching is really more my preferred method. I don't stock survival type foods, and I'm not knocking people who do, but I don't tend to have a desire to eat MREs, dried meats. I believe there has to be a balance in everything if you want to live a comfortable lifestyle. And that does not go without some preparation. Like, I do like canning things, but I don't can things for long-term storage, because I don't, eating canned goods that have been prepared 20, 30 years ago is not my ideal of how I want to enjoy the rest of my life. And no need to restrict my diet to those types of things currently, because I don't believe we live in that current situation right now. That way I get to enjoy a little other things that I want for a longer period of time. I don't really want the 20, 30-year canned goods that, great grandma had in her pantry. I don't want those. I'm just being honest. And, I just keep preparing on a continuous basis based on a few things. Really, mostly convenience, my convenience. When it's convenient for me to do a little prepping here and there, that's basically what my lifestyle consists of, okay? If that's wrong, well, it's wrong, but I don't want to waste my life, prepping to the end. That's not advice. That's just me. Okay, I don't want to be prepping to the end, to the day that I die. I don't want to be prepping. Okay, I want to enjoy my life as I have it now. I want to feel good about myself. I want to enjoy my time and keep my dignity intact while I'm doing so. And to me, that does not that does not include eating MREs just to, because I can show that I'm strong or something. I'm not doing that. When it comes to some essentials, some basic essentials, some things that we've come accustomed to calling essentials, like soap, toothpaste, toilet paper, I like knowing that I have several months of stock of those things. That's worth stocking to me. And I can collect those things easily without much of a problem. And maybe we'll get into some couponing and something like that later on in the year. But when it comes to self-care things like teas and oils and bath soaps, of course, those are not essential. Those are not necessities, but they are essential to my current lifestyle. And when it comes to those self-care corner items, I want them, I will stock them. And those are really luxury items that don't really cost much if you think about it, okay? But like I said, they are part of my lifestyle and they're part of my comfort. I love the Epsom salt baths. I love fresh teas, whether I grow them or buy them. And I like candles that smell good. I've got some everywhere in my house. And even though I choose not to go out a lot, I do like to be able to go when I want to. So therefore, that puts me in the mindset of splurging on things when they matter and saving on things when it doesn't matter that much. So I want to stay, I want to enjoy I want to think about the future, but I also want to enjoy my present time, right? So I'm not in survival mode. I'm still setting the stage to thrive. So I'm trying to retire gracefully. And that really does drive some of my decision making. I don't want people, I'm not going to let people, and I don't want you to let people push you into panic to the point that you can't enjoy your current life. I started test driving what I call my peace budget, right? So just imagining what my retirement budget might look like, but most importantly, what that's going to feel like once I get there. Only I live it now while I still have income, and try to set aside the extra money for when I am in retirement mode. So let's just call it, we can call it a financial rehearsal, right? So as I'm going through that process, what it turns out to be is I don't really miss the excess as much as I thought I would. I don't need that constant entertainment part of my life. What I need most of all, and I had to figure this out for myself, and you'll have to figure out what you need most of all, but what I need most of all is stillness. I need the time to be still. I need quality, and I need choices that reflect my values and my peace. Peace, it turns out, has a price. It really does. But I also have a plan for my peace. So if you had a chance to review some of my other videos, you would know I am really striving more for that cozy, soft life in retirement. And that doesn't mean isolation by no means. But it is a choice. Isolation is a choice. It's about, for me, more about my sovereignty. I love to grow a little. I love to cook a little. And I definitely save where I can. And I splurge again where it matters. You see, when you remove some of that noise from your life, the rhythm of your own life gets clearer. So when you remove all that excess and detach from relationships that don't bring value to your life, you can become more self-aware of the things that make you happy. Because remember, you heard it many times before, your happiness is your own responsibility. But if you can't figure out the things that make you happy and, try to get rid of some of the things that don't make you happy, you're sacrificing your own peace. I don't prep in the traditional sense, as you can conclude just based on what I've said so far. I guess I prep for my own protection. Again, I prep for my peace, my comfort, and my autonomy. Because remember, happiness is my responsibility. I'm responsible for securing my peace and my happiness. If you have similar interests, or you're just curious in those types of things, you landed on the right channel. And what I want you to do right now is to consider subscribing. And if you're subscribed, chances are you'll see my next video, and I'll see you there. Have a great day, guys. Okay.